Hi everybody! I was hesitant to purchase those geometric wooden drape molds because they didn't look very versatile. I mean, you purchase an oval mold, I thought I'd be limited to making multiples of that one shape. When I finally did purchase a set of them, what I found instead was that with a little creativity, they could be gateways to some really unique hand-building projects. Let me show you what I mean. I'll be making a tri-fold plate using two of the drape molds, the circle and the similar-sized triangle. I first rolled out a 1/4-inch slab and ribbed it smooth on both sides to compress the clay. I moved the slab to a piece of plastic wrap to keep it from sticking to the table as I'll need to move it later. I placed the larger side of the circle mold down flat on the slab and cut it out with a needle tool. I wet my finger and smoothed the edges of the slab to soften them. I turned over the slab and repeated this on the other side. I then moved the slab to the top of a thick piece of foam. You can get the foam in a fabric shop. I then picked up the triangle mold and placed it on the slab, with the smaller side down. I made sure to line up the corners to the edges of the circle. That's very important. I pushed the mold down into the slab so the uncovered edges of the circle form upward around the triangle form. I then rocked the form back and forth a bit to make sure the clay conformed well. I then placed the slab back on the flat table and removed the triangle mold. Now I'm going to shape the corners. I simply pinch the sides of the clay at the first corner. I wet my fingers and really compressed the clay at the very bottom of the crease where the clay would be the most vulnerable to cracking. I worked my way around to each of the 3 creases, pinching the sides together. I wanted the corners to keep their shape, so I needed to attach the sides of the plate along those seams. I scored, then slipped between the pinched area and pressed the sides together. While still holding the edges together with one hand, I placed a coil along the inner seam right to the back side of the pinched area and worked it in to give it a tight seal. I repeated this for all 3 seams. To dry the plate, I placed sponges underneath each of the 3 sides so they don't try to flatten back out as the piece was drying. I made sure my sides were level and even. I then placed a piece of plastic over the plate loosely so it would dry slowly. Remember to keep an eye on the plate as it dries and move the sponges inward as it shrinks. Now here's one that I made earlier. I painted the imagery with underglaze, then I used Amico C11 clear glaze over the whole thing. It would look so pretty as a serving dish at a party. The next project we're calling the double dish. I'll be using the large oval and the smaller oval molds for this. I rolled out 1/4-inch slabs, ribbed them smooth, and placed a piece of plastic wrap underneath each slab as I'll be moving them in a minute. I laid the larger side of each mold down flat to the slab and cut them out. I removed the mold, then the excess clay. With a wet finger, I softened the edge of the slab without distorting the oval shape. I turned over the slab and repeated this step on the bottom edge. Starting with the smaller oval slab, I placed it on top of the thick piece of foam. I centered the smaller side of the oval form down over the slab. I really double-checked that it was centered over that slab. When I was ready, I pressed down hard, rocking it around so it formed a memory around the mold and would not try to flatten back down. I took the plate off the foam and removed the mold. As advertised, the mold makes the perfect oval. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the larger slab. I placed it on top of the foam and carefully centered the mold to the slab. I pressed down hard like the other oval plate. And when I removed the mold, again I had the perfect oval. Next, I'll be using the smaller side of the smaller oval mold. I placed it down over the plate. Now you can center it to the inside of the plate, but I opted to place it off-center a bit, then lightly traced around the edge of the plate. Using my needle tool at the same angle as my mold, I cut around that inner line. In hindsight, I wonder if I could have kept the angled edge of the mold in place to cut around it. I'll have to experiment with that. I removed the inner oval section of clay. I scored and slipped that inner edge. I peeled the plastic from under the smaller oval plate and centered it down over the cavity that I just cut. When I was sure it was centered, I began to press it gently down into the cavity without distorting the plate as much as I could. With a wet finger, I gently pressed the creased edge against the slab at the bottom so they joined together. To reinforce the seam, I rolled out a long, thin coil. I wrapped it under the rim and worked it between the two plates to seal the seam. I really took my time to make sure the coil was worked in so it didn't crack apart as it dried. I worked my fingers under each rim to make sure there was no distortion and the rims were level. Now you can leave the rims totally oval, or you can pinch them in at various points to create more interesting shapes. Now if you do, make sure the coil underneath is still tightly joined. When you're done, you need to dry it slowly under loose plastic. When it's leather hard, you can work the back side of the clay where the seam joins. My clay's a bit too wet to do it right now, but for demonstration purposes, I'll show you how it looks. So if this was leather hard, I would just use a wet finger to smooth the clay together and completely seal that back seam. Now here's a plate that I made earlier where I divided it, underglazed it with bright red, then sgraffitoed a floral pattern into it. I then drew more flowers onto the white parts and painted them. There's so many ways to use this, perhaps like a chip and dip, or even to present food items separately. Finally, I took on a challenge to create an infinity bowl. I was inspired by the oval mold to create the template for it by tracing around the rounded edge. Again, I rolled out a 1/4-inch slab, ribbed it, and placed it on a piece of plastic wrap. I cut 2 of these template pieces from the slab. I used a wet finger to soften the edges of each template, making sure not to distort the shapes at all. On the first slab, I used my needle tool at an angle to bevel the inner flat edge. I turned over the second template piece to mirror the first slab, then beveled the flat edge of that slab piece. And here's what they should look like so far. I scored both the beveled edges and slipped one of them. I then turned over one of the slabs and fit the 2 beveled edges together. I was careful to make sure both of the tails were facing the top. I then pressed the seams together and made sure the connection was tight and as seamless as I could. I gently flipped the slab and made sure the bottom seam was also tightly connected and flat. I flipped the slab back over to where the tails were right side up again. I gently lifted the edge of the plate and positioned that tapered tail so it was gently curved inward towards the center of the opposite circle and marked it with a needle tool. I did the same thing with the other tail. I then scored along the marks and underneath the tails. I slipped one edge of both seams, then joined them together. I wrapped small coils around each tail and worked it into both the tails and the plate. I used my fingernail to work them in and make the connection tight without distorting the clay. I wanted to create the bowl shape, so I moved the slab over on top of that thick piece of foam. Using a wet finger, I began to push and stretch the clay down along the center part of the plate, around the tails, so the outer edges would start to curl up and form the dish. You'll really want to work the edges of the slab upward all the way to each edge. I continued the stretching on the other section of the figure 8 until the edges of the form created that nice infinity shape. Finally, I needed to lift the clay along that outer edge and pinch it into the closed form. To connect the pinched edge to the side of the plate, I scored and slipped the edges, then worked the clay into the side. I then stuck a piece of clay into the seam to make a tight connection. I made sure the edges were symmetrical on both sides of the figure 8. I placed plastic loosely over the bowl to let it dry slowly. When it was leather hard, I turned over the plate and made sure the clay was smooth and even. And here's one that I made earlier where I accentuated the shape by painting it with a vine of leaves and a bee, then coating it with Amico C11 clear and firing it to cone 5 with an 8-minute hole. This bowl could be a real conversation piece as you serve something fun in it at a party. Let me know in the comments what your favorite way is to use the drape molds. Thanks to the newest members of our Little Street Pottery Research Facility team. If you'd like to join the team and earn a title, click on the Super Thanks button or the link to buy me a coffee. In any case, we invite you to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time in the studio.